guys, welcome to Vinny's Vibe, where we invite you to catch the wave. Today we have two very special guests, and a lot of you guys probably know these two from the community. With us, I have Miss Monica and David. Say hello, Monica. Say hello, David.
Hi. Hello.
Now, Monica, obviously, if you guys have been in the neighborhood, have been on any social media page, or have any relatability to friends, would probably know who these two, who Monica is. However, there is somebody special in Monica's life that does a very good job at everything that he does. Tell us a little bit about what you do, David, and who you are, and a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Hi, my name is David. I do leak detection and pool repair. That's my current occupation. What is there to talk about, really?
It's awesome. Well, how long have you been in pool and leak detection?
I've been doing this almost 10 years. So,
man, what inspired you to do it? What got you into it? What motivates you each day into it?
Well, I didn't even know this was like an act, like a career thing. Like, it was more so when I first moved to the Daytona area. Mm-hmm. I was actually looking to be a police officer. So
really,
okay. Yeah. So I was looking to just start working to pay my way through the police academy. Obviously at the time, being a police officer, probably not the greatest idea. So, my mom kind of talked me out of that pretty quick. She wanted me to do something, do anything else, but please, not that. So I ended up, sticking with leak detection, which how I got into it, I guess, after one of the hurricanes. I can't remember what it was. We were out cleaning up the neighborhood, and someone actually worked for a leak detection company who ended up being neighbors with my mom. So just getting to know them kind of got my foot in the door, and been doing it ever since.
Wow. And so tell me a little bit about, going into it, what's made you kind of do it for, like you've been doing it for a whole decade, right? Previously you were thinking about being a police officer. Now you've gone 10 years into, pool and leak detection. What's the importance of what you do for people who are homeowners, people that are, in commercial builds? Like, a lot of people that work in these buildings and, around don't understand really the importance of it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, again, like I said, it was definitely something. I didn't even know that this was a thing, but you come to learn pretty quick that, especially here in Florida, you have a pool and you live in Florida, chances are that thing's leaking. So, you just kind of find that,
true story,
as you look around, and, I do have done leak detections for houses and water lines and stuff like that too. So you kind of, as you get into it, you look around and you notice that there's actually, even though it's pretty niche, everybody has a water problem. So
especially here, especially in Palm Coast, there's so much, intercoastal waterways, and especially the C-section houses. Just it's so important. I can imagine what you've seen over the years.
You see some pretty crazy stuff. Okay.
Elaborate on the craziest. Come on, don't hold back.
Shoot, if I did that, like it's hard to know with Florida code. It seems to change daily, which I know is not the case, but man, I'm from Michigan originally, so some of the stuff that you see in Florida, you would never see anywhere else. You take, a broken pipe, whether it's a water line or a pool pipe, and you'll probably get 30 different answers depending on who, if you ask 30 different plumbers or pool technicians on how to do the repair, you're going to get 30 different answers. Whereas, up north, everything's pretty unified.
Right.
Now again,
there's a call to action, right?
Yeah. Now I haven't been up, I haven't lived up north for a while, so I don't really know how things are now, but, like I said, it's, notice that there's a need for it, and problem solving is pretty fun, when you get pretty good at it. So it's just kind of kept me drawn to it, I guess.
Awesome.
One of the craziest leak detections that he's ever done, or repairs he's ever done, actually we did together. It wasn't even crazy. It was we met at work, And
Wow.
because
Okay.
I
Elaborate. Come
I
on.
used to work with him. That's how we met.
Okay.
And they sent me to help him with one repair. It was a return line leak, and so we cut through the deck, fixed that leak, and we're like, man, that took 2 hours. We're done.
We're done. 2
We
hours.
try to pressurize. We try to pressurize the plumbing, and it wouldn't hold. It wouldn't hold. Anyways, fast forward 6 days, we ended up replumbing this entire pool. There were so many leaks. It was an older pool. It was so much going on there, and it just felt terrible because it's a family. It's having repairs is not cheap, and it's like, oh my gosh, we have to tell these people that they have 2, 3, 4 breaks.
Yeah, that part's not fun.
So that's not fun. Having to tell someone, hey,
This ain't gonna be a cheap fix.
this isn't going to be cheap. And, you know, specifically, like, it's a swimming pool. It's not a necessity. But once you have it, you have to fix it. Otherwise, your insurance drops. You have leaks. Your water bill is high, whatever the case may be. So that was super crazy that we went there to do one repair and ended up pretty much replumbing. It was like 8 repairs or something like that. It was crazy.
So it sounds like Dave's chopping at the bit. Go.
No, I was just, another thing I say is I feel like a doctor. Sometimes I'm always delivering bad news to people.
Coming from a lender's perspective, I feel you on that. So,
well, as a lender too, pools are, make or break for house deals. So it's
right. Especially so on the side, of course, I do mortgages, and a lot of times when I have these deals, and this is for anybody who's out there, get before you do any sort of loan or HELOC or whatever you're trying to think about doing, get your lien taken off as soon as possible, because that prevents you from closing any time. So if you had any work done in the recent 2 years, get in touch with those contractors and just make sure that everything is in line, even if the work has been completed. So this way, that process goes by a lot quicker. Anyways, go on a little bit more in regards to how that works,
Which part are we talking about again?
So, well, we were talking about kind of how the environment works, where you have these projects that seem to kind of go on. And,
yeah. I mean, commercials more so than residentials for sure.
Right.
One thing you find is commercials tend to wait to the absolute
worst time
or the absolute worst case scenario before they do absolutely anything. So
just why it's a big money maker, right? I can imagine for a lot
correct. What it does is it ends up turning a $1,200 fix into a $10,000 fix real quick because you just ignore it for so long. So I do find, especially like I said, commercials in particular, it's usually never just one problem.
Right. So tell me a little bit, kind of tell us a little bit about, when it comes to your, overall life balance, right? Like outside of the, outside of your own business, right? Like, so you have, life, you have things that are going on, but then also in these kind of situations, and I'm sure Monica, you could probably agree with this too. Like you also have these little things that happen out of nowhere, right? And especially in your business, right? Like you have things that just come up. How do you guys balance through that in what you do outside of your business?
That's something that we've been working on. It takes a lot of communication because when something little happens, if he doesn't communicate that to me, for example, coming here, I was at the office. I am handling quotes, estimates, employees, clients wanting to switch their appointments, clients wanting to add appointments because, and then he had to take the dog to the vet and he's about to leave here and he's like, hey, we're meeting at 1. I'm leaving here. He turns around. One of the dogs is sick. So it's like up
all over the living room.
All over the living room.
No.
So it's like, okay, so now we're either going to 1, be late, or 2, leave it and you help me clean it when we get home.
Yeah, needless to say, it's covered with a towel right now.
Yeah. So then once we leave here, that's teamwork. We're going to go home and figure out which dog is sick. What do we need to do? Stuff like that. He was literally locking the door to come here.
Crazy.
When that happened. So little things pop up, not only with businesses. in the parking lot here, I had someone call, and a client, you have to answer your phone if you want to make business, because when you don't answer your phone, people don't buy.
Exactly.
So I answer
Got to
the
feed your
phone,
family.
and I have someone, it is their right to know all of the questions that they have to ask me.
Right.
But things that come up, like clients don't know when's a good time to call you.
Right.
So when they call, you answer, and if you're in the middle of something, it's like, okay, that has to wait, or you have to let the client go to voicemail, which I absolutely hate doing, but sometimes you have to. So
Right.
we have to manage those little last minute things with communication.
Right. And then a lot of things that I've realized a lot in well, in my relationship with Rebecca sometimes is, like we created those boundaries, right? And those are like, like those phone calls that come in, it's like they just come in out of nowhere, and we always feel like we have to get there, because otherwise, we feel like we can't feed our family, because like this is our income, this is what we do, and we want to give a great service. So touch on that, kind of when it comes to, and again, respect to all customers and everyone who's out there. We love serving you in our business, but touching on the outside, and I'm sure we all universally can agree on this, like that balance of life outside of our business that matters so much. How do you create that boundary between you and your clients and your customers and your business? How does that work in that kind of regard?
So I have business hours, and although I have business hours for phone calls,
Mm.
our business hours say 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And the reason why it says that is because 8 o'clock in the morning, I may have a client that's like, hey, child just woke up sick. We're handling an emergency. So I need those 30 minutes to either move clients around before I start taking phone calls. I also need those 30 minutes. God forbid one of my techs is sick, has an accident or anything. So my business hours start at 8:30 to 4:30, but that's quotation marks, because I'm already working from 8 o'clock,
Mm.
and then I say the phone shuts off at 4:30 because I'm going to be on the phone with someone till 5:30. Now, those are my business hours for client communication phone calls. That doesn't mean work stops, because I am a one-man show in the office.
Right.
I have every now and then someone that can help me in admin stuff. So I do have like an admin assistant, but they're not, a 40-hour employee. They're barely a part-time employee.
Mm.
However, I still keep working because there's other things that need to be done. But as far
Right.
as telephone hours, they do shut off at 4:30
Mm.
for clients. So that
Right.
way, if I am at home still working and he's got a question, or we can have a conversation,
Right.
I can pause what I'm doing and still talk to him, stop what I'm doing and still go let the dogs out, feed the dogs, or whatever the case may be. As far as like my business hours, 4:30 is the telephone hours, but I still, he's like, are you gonna finish working today?
Yeah, mine's a little different because I don't have a set time in or a set time off.
Mm.
I have block times, or I get a list of jobs.
Okay.
Um, and
Yeah.
how early I start those jobs and how late I start those jobs is pretty much entirely up to me. And or in the unfortunate case that I run into a bunch of issues at jobs,
Right.
then there's no cap. Now we get 2 hour block periods mostly for each job, but
So what? So
typically,
yeah. So what happens? Like in your industry, it's such an emergency type of
yeah.
environment. Like if something happens at 3 in the morning, how does that? How
No,
does that
see,
work?
it's a little different. We're not an emergency service.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and we like I said, there's no you're not gonna have a pool issue that's an emergency.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's
Shut off
just
the pool.
it may be an
There you go.
emergency to you, but it's not gonna cause any harm. So it's not
Right.
an emergency in the actual sense. So
I like the way again, like I like the way that you guys think about that, right? Like that's so important. You spend hours a week doing what you're doing, and there are going to be interruptions,
right.
right? But to kind of mitigate those things and create block times, right? Like creating block times or setting those hours between 8:30 to 4:30, right? That gives that time. So this way you could do those things in life scenarios, right? So tell me a little bit. Okay, so obviously we talk about boundaries, talk about that, all that other crazy, crazy junk stuff. but tell me a little bit about things that you guys kind of do for fun outside of your work that really connects you guys, or just helps connect you guys intrapersonally, which basically would mean like for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm a little out of shape now, but we used to physical activity such as working out, lot of weight training, stuff like that. That's where we had originally found our zone together. Is
Really?
when we first met. That's what we did. Is
We worked out
together
every day, twice a day.
Yeah, every day in the morning.
Dang.
We worked out in the morning
Yeah.
before work, and then at night before work, after work.
Yeah.
Okay, so was it like 30 minutes in the beginning and
No.
then 30 minutes
Nah,
again,
bruh.
or was
No, I'm not a.
okay?
I'm not a. I'm just gonna.
I'm actually working on my before body because my after pictures are amazing.
Oh, jeez.
No, I used to be in really good shape. But I mean, I just loved it. We just had a lot of fun in the gym.
Yeah, and I'm not. If I'm doing it, I'm doing. I'm doing it.
He's
I'm
not a
100%.
half-asser.
So
I feel you there. I
He's
feel
not
you
a half-asser,
so
and
right when we were doing it,
he yells a lot.
there.
not a lot, just when I need to.
So what you're saying is you're not a Planet Fitness kind of guy.
No, no, no. Definitely a home gym type guy.
Yep. Yep.
I like
Right there.
dropping stuff on the ground.
Yep.
I'm definitely I like lifting heavy, and I like lifting heavy often. So
Now, do you like doing it with a cigar in your mouth? Are you like a
No.
are you like an Arnold Schwarzenegger where you have like the
absolutely not, absolutely not. I was not blessed with those kind of genetics, but no, but definitely for me, stogies. It's something that we also share because I
Yeah.
love stogies and she loves to hate them. So
Yep.
So,
Okay, I
yeah.
can compare. I can
Yeah.
compare there. So can my wife's parents. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
What's your favorite cigar?
my favorite cigar?
Your favorite cigar
Mm.
as of now, as of today.
Man, that's tough. That is tough, man.
There was one you
I'm putting you on the
had
spot.
that you bragged about forever. I
There-
don't know.
listen, there's one. It depends. Okay, so I'll do two. An Illusione is pretty good.
Louisiana. I've never heard of that.
Louisiana-
Tell me a little bit
Louisiana.
about that.
I'll have to do that later. I can't pull it up right now, but and
How's the burn? How's the burn? Is it?
it's great.
Yeah.
The burn's great. Shoot, man, I haven't smoked. Actually have one in my closet. I haven't smoked one in a couple months, but man, it was just it lit great. It smoked great. Everything about it was great. Another one would be a Tabak.
Oh, it's a Bach.
Tabak
Okay.
Especial. Now that is literally coffee in a stogie. It's delicious.
So is that like a morning cigar? Would you say?
It's a whenever you have one type of cigar.
Whenever
okay?
you have one,
Literally,
okay.
if you're gonna smoke one in the morning, for sure, that's the go-to. I'm not a huge morning smoker,
Okay.
but you cannot go wrong with a tobacco. I know, depending on the temperature, if it's too hot. I'm not a big, spice type guy. I'm anything that's gonna make me sweat heavy. I'm not in it. You know what I'm saying?
So you're not a
Wait,
bold...
cigars make you sweat?
I do, but
Yes,
so
yes,
why do
they
you
do.
smoke them?
I don't get me wrong. I like a good Maduro
They
for
smell good.
sure.
Come on. Yeah,
I
Maduro's
like
good.
a good Maduro for sure. I like the peppers. I like the white pepper scents for sure. But if it's hot outside,
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying away from it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you this. So I go golfing with my father-in-law, and I know he's probably listening to this. So I love you, by the way. But there are times where it's the middle of summer, and he loves golf.
Yeah.
He'll have a Gurkha in his. He'll have like
Yeah.
a Gurkha or some
Yeah.
cigar in his mouth, smoking along the way, and I'm like, man, just give me my IPA, man. I gotta have something cold. I gotta have something, and it's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, there's different smokes for different folks,
sure.
right?
For sure.
I like
I'm not an
that.
IPA guy either, though. So it's
Yeah. So tell me, because now I'm gonna do a friends thing here. So so tell me, do you like a lager or a beer, and can you tell me the difference between the two?
couldn't tell you I mean, I would assume a lager is a beer. Okay, that's
Okay.
first of all. I would assume that. A lager, I guess, would be heavier.
Now, before we go
Like,
before we do this, because if you guys, know this, Monica got, no, now, Monica, tell me a little bit about Monica Clean, what inspired you, obviously, to come up with this name, because this is where the relatability comes into play. It's, anything, and I don't care who you are, you can compare anything to Friends. Tell me a little bit about, tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about like what inspired you to go Monica Clean, go with the business and fly with that.
So, that wasn't even my idea.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yes. Before I had my own business and we lived in Flagler, we lived in Volusia County in Port Orange.
Wow.
My
Okay.
best friend owns a cleaning service there. And I worked for her.
Okay.
And her clients would call and say, "Can you send me Monica? Because I want things Monica clean." And I was already a Friends fan. So
Start.
I was cleaning someone's oven, and I actually have a picture that day. Her client took my picture cleaning her oven, and she posted it on her personal Facebook and said, "It's not just clean, it's Monica Clean." And I was like, I'm going to use that moving forward.
Hmm.
And I did. And I continued to work for my friend's company. And then when we moved to Flagler, she was like, "Dude, you're gonna hate your life driving all the way to Edgewater, New Smyrna, from Bunnell, Palm Coast, Flagler County." And I
Right.
was like, "I'm not gonna hate it. I'm not gonna hate it." And then yes, I did. I hated it. And I told her I hate driving
Right.
this much. I hate driving, period.
Yeah.
So she said,
How do you guys do?
hey. So she said to me, she was like, "Well, it's not like you live in Volusia County. It's not like you're going to be servicing people in Volusia County, and I can help you start your business." And she helped me. And then I was like,
That was really awesome.
I said to her, I said, and I had signed a non-compete for her company, but she said, "Hey, I want to see you grow, and it's not like you're gonna come to Volusia County and do it, so let's do that." And I said, "Okay."
pretty
And
awesome.
I asked her, I was like, "I wouldn't even know what to name my business." And she goes, "Why would you come up with a new name? Like, people are already calling you Monica Clean." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll keep it." So,
Oh my gosh. So that's where it started, was really like from the experience that these other customers
yeah, they
went
were
through.
requesting me as their cleaner, like, "Oh, I want to set up a new cleaning, or I want to set up a cleaning. Send me Monica because I want it Monica Clean." And that's how my business name was born. Just
Now,
me doing the thing that I do.
now, obviously, now that you're Monica Clean, you have to keep the credibility alive and keep the whole like aura of what Monica Clean is. So this question goes for you, David. How do you do working out being a Chandler?
How do I? You gotta put me on the spot like that.
Well, him and Chandler have one
Put
thing
me
in
on the
common.
spot like that. I mean, probably got a few things. I'm definitely a big eater for sure.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's Joey.
Oh, dude.
Chandler's Monica's husband.
Oh
Okay.
my god, I just totally exposed myself.
Oh yeah.
My fault. First of all, that's my fault.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's
Remember Joey.
confusion on my fault.
Remember Joey.
Yep.
Joey did meet Monica at one point in time, and it could have happened.
Listen, I feel like I need a dunce cap right now. That was
You're right.
that was
No,
tough.
you're fine.
That
You're
was
fine.
tough.
No, it
So, you know how people would ask Chandler, "What do you do for a living?" And nobody knew what Chandler did for a living? So when people ask David, "What do you do for a living?" and he says, "I'm a leak detector," they get that same look on their face like, "What is that? And is that a real thing?" Because like he said, he didn't know this was a niche or a thing or a career until it was introduced to him. A lot of people don't. So when he
Right.
starts talking to people about leak detection, they go, "Wait, what? That's a thing?"
Yeah.
So I compare him to Chandler, like, nobody knows what you do for a living.
Yeah. Wasn't there that moment on Friends where everybody was doing where I think it was Ross, Chandler, Monica, and Rachel, and they were doing that. It's the famous one where they're doing that like 30-second like thing, and then they said, "What does Chandler do for a living?"
And it's crickets,
And then-
crickets, crickets.
And then he's a transponster.
He's a transponster.
Yeah, it's not even a word.
Yeah, so yeah, nobody knows what Chandler does for a living. Nobody knows what David does for a living.
But nonetheless,
Because it's hard to explain, that's all.
But nonetheless, it's so important, though, right? I mean, gosh, like I think what all three of us do is so important, and it's but it's one of those things that it's sometimes hard to classify, exactly everything that we do,
Exactly.
and then go from there. You know, so um, tell me a little bit about like what you guys kind of like to do other than kind of working out, you know, what you guys like to do actively in the community, you know, things like that that kind of, you know, keep you guys rooted and keep you guys, you know, still motivated, but also doing a little bit of your community
Well,
involvement.
she's got her hand in everything. So you know, like you said before, if you're around, you know who she is. She is involved in everything that goes on in Palm Coast in Flagler, anywhere in Flagler County. Really, she's gonna be there.
Right.
You know, me not so much. I'm not really too into, you know, massive crowds of people. That's not really
Right.
something I really care to be involved in. But you know, some things I like
Right.
to go out and show support. So, you know, her booths and stuff like that. You typically see me there.
And it's important in like a, you know, like in a relationship, right? Like for me and Rebecca. By the way, Rebecca's my wife. If you guys don't know that. So she's done the same kind of thing. So she's been at some of my events, you know, but she has a different perspective on kind of like how, you know, to project yourself and to make yourself valuable. And she's taught me a lot. And I'll just be honest with you, she taught me a lot about boundaries myself, because otherwise I would be out all the time from 7 a.m. until 10 at night, you know, and you know, she was the one that really taught me a lot about kind of like, you know, there is a limit, right? And you know, you have to dedicate that time for one another and for yourself and to keep yourself motivated. You know, so tell okay, so I don't want to be mushy gushy here, but tell the audience about like how important each one is here, in not only in your relationship but just in regards to keeping each other balanced each day.
So I definitely have to go first because
Yeah.
I work a lot.
Mm.
So even though I have boundaries where I shut off the phone and I might be like, you know what, I've been working 17 hours, or it's a Saturday or it's a Sunday, I may not be working on business stuff, but I'm working on my business or on myself. Like I have coaching.
Mm.
Um, I have 5 or 6 coaching sessions a month. Each of those coaching sessions comes out with homework, because what's the point of having a coaching session if you're not going to work on what, you know, work on it? So you have homework to do. So I may not be in there scheduling Monica Clean or with my employees or looking at the schedule, but I'm doing coaching homework and I'm in my office and I'm doing that. And it's so important to me. I lose track of time easily. And when he walks in and puts a plate of food literally on top of my laptop and goes, "This was cold now." I'm like, oh, that's when I get I've been ignoring him and I'm an asshole.
No.
Because like I'm just so focused on doing, you know, getting the checklist done. And then next thing you know, he's coming home and he's like, "Hey, have you drank anything today?"
Uh-huh.
And oh, okay, maybe I should go get some water.
Right.
So he keeps my balance, because if it wasn't for him, I would never eat, I would never sleep, and I would never see the sunlight, because I would just work all the time.
Go.
Yeah, it's just I just feel like my entrepreneur mindset is I'm under 5 years. So right now, yes, I need personal time, but personal time will come when I make it, which I don't know. I don't know that you ever just go, "I made it," and quit. You don't, you know, because if your heart is really in this, you don't just go, "I made it," and slow down. I made it. And then you find something new to feed your soul. That new goal. Something has to feed your mind and your soul. So for me, all of the activities that I do, all of the volunteering that I do, and all of the like business volunteer, I am also a volunteer with the chamber. I'm an ambassador.
Right.
So all of the things that I do are, this is going to sound selfish, they're feeding my dreams. And then he has to feed my body because I forget. And then when it comes to him, like a lot of times because we did leak detection together, he is a lot better at like pools and stuff than I would ever be. Like he'll understand equipment more than I'll ever understand it. But I love that sometimes he'll call and he'll be like, "I can't find this leak, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "All right, stop. Just tell me the complaint. Just tell me the original client complaint." And I'll go through my mind and then I'll give him some ideas. I don't know if they work or not, because usually he just gets the job done and moves on to another one.
Yeah.
But he does like ask me, or he does like, hey, I can't find this, or another way to go about it, or anything like that. So we do bounce off of each other. I also have to come to him when I have to write hard emails, hard letters, or reprimand an employee, and ask him, hey, is this harsh?
So it sounds to me like, because a lot of people, and I'm sure we've all been raised with this type of environment, like work is at work and home is at home. But the reality of it is, it sounds to me, and of course this is kind of, like Rebecca and I have this kind of like this way too, and it works, right? Like you can kind of commingle that relationship and still talk about that, because in the end, this is life. It's not work-life balance. This is life. So definitely it's so important. But David, tell me a little bit about, like, for you, like what that means.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Monica is definitely my outward voice. Okay, I mean, literally, she without Monica, I for sure would have no friends. Okay.
Oh my God.
That's first of all, I would for sure have no friends, because I am the definition of homebody. I, never had a party stage. Even when I did go to college, never really my thing was to go out and have major social gatherings with people. Not that it didn't happen, but it just wasn't. It was very few and far between.
Right.
She is.
Which is nothing wrong with that, I mean, like, it's
right. She's definitely the, hey, let's look for directions. Let's ask somebody for help. Whereas I am internally looking for answers that I don't have.
We can all compare with somebody that is like that, and that is
exactly. So really, the reason that things around the house get done is because there's someone there to make sure that
Don't say that.
someone is out loud. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. And this needs to be done. And this is the time frame in which it needs to be done. And so
everyone needs that in a relationship.
For sure. Because I am a bit of a procrastinator, for sure. Way more so than she will ever.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Probably not good for a lender to say that, but
I think it's, man, we just, we live at two very different speeds most of the day, whereas I am not in so much of a hurry, because like I said, I'm not on anyone else's time for the most part.
Right.
Whereas she is very 1,000 miles an hour at all times, which is good, because like I said, if it was up to me, it would take way too long to do most of the things that we need to do, or
right.
Things such as getting things scheduled on the phone, like I said, asking anyone for anything, or like I said, any kind of direction. She's definitely lucky that she's there, because I'm like I said, I'm looking for the answers.
Vinny,
in here,
he doesn't even like to ask people to do their job when it's their job to do the damn thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So
I'm like, babe, wait a minute. So you just paid this for them to do this, but now we're doing the thing that we paid them to do. Oh hell no! I'm getting on the phone. He's like, no, it was fine.
No,
there has to be the bull, and I think there's times where you bull both heads, right?
For
and
sure. No, it's. I'm not. I'm more of like the. I don't want to make it a hassle. Right. And she's more of a. I don't really care how you feel about this.
Man, let's just say with me and my wife, it's kind of that same type of thing. So Becca's kind of like that. We went on a Disney trip, and I won't let you guys in on the details. That's a non-podcast thing. But let's just say, my wife knows how to tell it like it is.
Yeah.
And people need that in a relationship, and it is important to have that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, she's definitely an outward voice, man, for sure. Even though she's well loved in the community.
Yeah.
She may get me into some beef here.
So okay. All right, so we have a little bit of time left, just a little bit more here. So I wanted to play a little game, and I do this with all my guest hosts and people that I have on. So I'm gonna give about 30, well, about 1 minute, about a minute here. I'm gonna give about 7 different words, and for each word, I need you to give one word association. Doesn't matter who it comes from first. If it comes at the same time, great. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna get into that, and then from that point on, we'll go from there. But are you guys ready to start the intense questionnaire? Are you ready?
Man, I've already got the dunce cap on right now. So,
All right,
so
let's
see if
do
I
it.
can take it off.
Okay. All right. Great. Here we go. All right. So, business.
Monica Clean.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Clean.
Monica.
Okay. I'm gonna throw one in here. Drain.
Plumbing.
Stress.
Plumbing.
Yeah, she beat me on that. I was also gonna say Monica on that one as well.
Say Monica. I'll let him answer some.
It's fine.
Okay. Friends.
Oh my god, all of these.
TV show.
Monica again. Listen, everything is. Your
Family. Family.
Encouragement.
Okay. Life.
I was giving you the.
Family.
Oh my goodness, we're failing at this.
That was tough.
Okay. Okay. Love.
Self.
Go on.
That was
Go
a
on,
good
Dave.
one. That was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, I
I
can't
mean,
take
I
good one as
feel-
an answer, David.
I feel like
hope for sure.
Hope.
I feel
There
like
you go.
I if you don't love yourself, how could you love someone else? So that's why that one
Yeah.
came. Yeah,
And last one is balance.
none.
Okay.
Tough.
Okay. So you heard it from them. Balance is tough, but one
There's
thing
also none. I'm just kidding.
but it is achievable.
For sure.
Right? So well, Monica, David, I want to say thank you guys so much for coming on, and
Thank you for having us. This was an honor.
Yeah, thank you.
Well-
I appreciate it.
well, if there is one couple out there that really stands kind of like, at least for me personally, like, what it means to be a strong couple for something that you guys both do that takes a lot of time, it's just an honor for you guys to be on here and to, be transparent and tell everybody, kind of, that it's not easy, right? But at the same time that it is achievable to still have that balance and have a fruitful relationship in what you're doing in your business. So again, thank you guys for being on. And next time on Vinny's Vibes, we would love to have anybody who would like to come on. So catch us every single Friday. We'll be on first thing in the morning. We'd love to check us out. We on Flagler Voice. We'll be on YouTube, Spotify, just about anywhere you can think of. We will be on there. Thank you, Flagler Voice, for being able to host this podcast. This is Vinny from Vinny's Vibes, inviting you to dive into your vibe. Thank you, guys.